the spaces inside your heart. I hope I'll be your end destination. I hope I'll be your life-changing sensation.
Hi guys.
Well, a lot of you know we are back in Canada in our hometown Oakville, and we are filming in a village called Brawny, which is part of Oakville, near the marina. We thought the background would be a nice view for you.
We always like to try and get some nice scenery behind us or around us. It helps with the energy.
Yes,
Right?
It's calming us.
Yeah.
Yeah, because we're feeling a little discombobulated since we've been back.
What's the matter, Pop? I'm confused.
Yeah, basically we've been visiting obviously our family, our friends, and just getting reacclimatized to our area here because it is different than the Azores, than Pico Islands.
We are happy to be back here,
Extremely.
but we're already missing Pico.
Yeah.
But we got a call from our cousins this morning and from one of our followers, as you know, Charlie and Maggie, and that kind of helped a bit.
We always feel like we're connected, like mentally, we're always there, and even though physically we're here, it's just
we're
a
still
mindset.
there too.
Yeah, we're still there, and when we talk about things, planning things, even before we went there, we always get, because and especially being there for a year, it's even more so. I had never been that long, after we moved to Canada, and it's quite. It's more of a shock when you come back.
We did find that a few things that were a little bit
Shocking.
I mean, we grew up here, but I think being away for a year, when you come back, you really notice these things. And one of them was there's a lot more traffic.
Oh yeah, traffic's crazy.
Yeah, and noise.
Yeah,
a lot more noise.
And we, basically it's around where we live, Halton or Oakville, the metro area, outside Toronto. We didn't even venture into. We don't usually venture there anyways, but yeah, it's crazy traffic, noise.
Yeah, and
construction.
Construction. We saw a lot of cranes, a lot
New
of
builds.
condos going up, new builds. The real estate market has been booming here, seeing sold signs everywhere, and they are predicting that there is going to be an influx of people moving into this area.
Even more. I mean, it's always like that, but yeah, that kind of hit us right in. Coming from driving around Pico Island on those roads, quiet, no traffic, to then boom, being transported into. It's almost like that's how it feels. We were actually,
lots of people walking around.
Noise. I'm like, what am I gonna do here? No, but it's an adjustment, and because we're there for a year, like Laura said, it'll just take a little bit longer to get kind of back into the rat race, basically, because that's what it feels like.
Yeah. So then the
sometimes.
other thing that we did when we got here, we went to the grocery store. We're staying at a relative's home, and so we thought we'd go grocery shopping. So that was a little bit of a shock. Like, the prices have gone up. We bought, just to give an example, we bought yogurt back in Pico for €1.99. Here it was like four
70.
something, 4.70. Eggs back in Pico, we were paying 97 cents for 12 eggs, and here it was around 4 as well. The great thing is that a couple of our friends that live in a farm gave us some eggs.
Joe, thank you very much. He invited us up to where he lives. He lives in a farm. He said the last time someone gave me eggs was my uncle back on Pico, and that was nice. A nice feeling.
Yeah, it was nice being up there because, again, we were back into the quiet.
Yeah, we did feel like we needed to, and this was only the first week. We needed to get out as soon as we had a chance to do that. We went into the country, and like, if you've never been in this area, outside of these busier towns, it's country. It's a lot of country. Canada's huge, and most of it is country. It's mountains. It's a really unbelievable country, worth exploring, and I think we're going to do a little bit more of that.
Yeah.
Other things that settling in. What else is going on here with us?
Oh, settling in. Oh, well, getting Zeena settled in.
Yes.
And she's doing quite
doing
well.
good.
I think she's
settled.
doing better than we are.
Yeah, because she hasn't been driving.
She hasn't been driving, but I have her trained on a harness, so she's been exploring out in the backyard, and Yeah, she is enjoying herself.
Yeah, so that's funny. Yeah.
And
Can
there's
you
a
ever-
bee on your head.
That's okay. I don't mind it.
Oh, come on. I think this bee is trying to
Laura
get
doesn't
on
like
camera.
bees?
No, I don't like bees at all.
So-
Coming over to Canada, the process of that, we had to get our vaccinations done because, of course, we were not coming back to Canada to quarantine at a hotel and then have to quarantine for 14 days. That was not an option for us. We were calling to set up our appointments, and there seemed to be a disconnect with putting the information on the website and then calling for the appointment. Whoever we spoke to didn't get our information that we put on the website, so we were having some difficulty in that aspect. But our cousin Sylvia had a friend at the hospital, so we were able to get that sorted out.
So that helped a lot because sometimes you need a little bit of help to get in there. And the reason there was a bit of a delay on them calling you is because I had a health number, but she didn't. But more on that a little bit later. That would have helped the process because that's where the disconnect happens. Sometimes you're not in their system 100%. Some things are missing from there.
Yeah, because I had, when we did go in and get the vaccinations, but when we filled the form out, where you're supposed to put your health number, they said, oh, don't worry about it. Carlos was able to put his health number in, but not mine. So we just thought, oh, okay, so no big deal. We found out that we had to get a digital copy to put into ArriveCan because they wanted to see that you've had both vaccinations proof. So at that point, we were told to go on a website called SNS 24.
Yeah.
Carlos was able to do it. I wasn't. First problem was the cell phone because we share a cell phone in Pico. We had the Portuguese telephone number that.
And that's because you get a code sent to you for
Yes.
security reasons. So
Yeah, so the code was sent to Carlos,
My
but I
code.
wasn't able to get a code. Then we found out it was also because I didn't have a health number.
yeah. I think in Portuguese it's called utente, número de utente, something like that. But it's basically a health number. And now Laura has one. And there was like, everyone was figuring out why isn't, that she can or can't. And when we figured that out.
So this was like a few days before
Whoa.
we were leaving.
Yeah,
So we were kind of running around like a chicken with our heads cut off.
No, we put the process in early. Like we really started doing this early, but because of, like I was mentioning, some bureaucracies, just things happen slow there. And sometimes with COVID and all these restrictions, it's new for a lot of people, even the people that work it.
Yeah, and especially with ArriveCan, they just started with that system where you could upload the document.
Yeah, and it's always changing. So at the end of the day, we got the proof of digital. We printed everything. I just want to give some, in order for Laura to get her number, she had to prove that she was there longer than 6 months. So we have lots of proof.
Because of COVID.
And we had to go, there were, because the number comes from the hospital system, right? In Madalena, in our case. And then we went into, they sent us to the town of São Mateus, the government office. Her name is Madalena.
Yeah,
helped
she was so helpful.
So, yeah, spoke English, like a lot of people speak English there. And it's always good to get help, quickly, because we didn't have a lot of time.
Yeah.
And also at the health center in Madalena, the hospital, Debbie
Yes,
helped
Debbie
us there.
too. Very, very
At
good.
the end of the day, we got her number. We got able to get our proof.
And then we were able to take a
Deep breath.
deep breath and a big sigh. That was all sorted out. We're ready to get on the plane.
And I think it's going to rain. I felt a few
I
drops
did
there.
feel
Hopefully
a drop too.
not. And then we set up a test because we needed to get a test within 48 hours. And with the test that we need, they say 72 hours. And they measure right to the time you leave, in our case, Portugal, to Canada. So if my flight left at 5 p.m., they count from that. It's not like, because if I put it where the flight was, was 72 hours and just left it at that, and the flight left, it would have, and we got the test done in the morning, and we didn't leave until the afternoon, 3 days later, it wouldn't be good. So I
Yeah.
made sure it was 48 hours.
Yeah, so that
It worked out well.
that process was fine. It was, again, when we originally arrived on Pico, we just did a drive-through test, so we got that done, and then we just had to make sure everything was sorted out at the house. And with Zeena, she actually had to go in for an examination 5 days before we left, so we got that done.
Yeah.
And we had to buy a carrier. We had to make sure that it was only 20 inches in width. And how many inches in length? Was it 40?
I'm not sure,
think,
but we'll put the web.
We'll put it in. So
it's the airline, so you just have to go to the SATA bringing on pets area.
yeah, and
right?
she came on the plane with us, so
Yeah.
she was at our feet, and she did
Amazing,
quite
yeah.
well. I mean, she slept most of the time, and I actually boiled a little bit of chicken to give to her periodically. The good thing was that we had to stop over in Terceira before we actually took our flight over to Canada. So we were able to take Zeena outside. We found a nice shady grassy area because we were going to have to wait about 4 hours, was
4
it,
hours,
for
4 or 5 hours.
our flight to Toronto. So we had her on the leash and the harness and opened the carrier and had her kitty litter there. I packed it in my carry-on bag, but she didn't want to come out. She was quite happy with us being there, and she was just relaxing, and we just
Yeah, it was
hung out
great.
for the
No,
whole time.
Not a problem. Just the cost for that SATA, it cost about 156 euros for us to bring Zeena in the plane with us. Okay, that was the total cost from the connector to the international flight.
Yes.
And when we get to Canada, there's a $35 for inspection. They call it inspection. So they don't actually inspect her, but
Yeah,
that's the cost.
but actually that was the
That's-
funny
yeah,
thing.
that's
When we cleared customs, we had never brought an animal before, and when we didn't declare. When we did the declaration, we
No,
said no to everything,
everything.
you know. And so we're walking through. It's like, oh, you know, we're out of here, and all you hear is, "Excuse me," and we turn around.
Is that a
And
cat?
she goes, "Do you have a cat in that carrier?" I'm like, she goes, "You didn't declare it," and we're like, "Oh no, we're in trouble." But we weren't. We went
Yeah, it was
into
fine, yeah.
the inspection, and the inspection officers were really cute with her.
Yeah, no,
they were
it's
talking to her, and it was all
That
good.
was what took the longest, was that part.
Yeah, or else we would have been out of
Yeah,
there.
so it was pretty quick, very smooth. Our plane had 20 people on it. So 150
Yeah.
the capacity, we had 20. On the way back, I'm sure it was full. And so it was very comfortable to ride. Airbus 321 ER, very, very nice flight.
Yeah, but the only issue is that they put everybody together. That was an issue. And one gentleman actually called out the steward and said, you have an empty plane here and you're putting us all together. This is an issue. Their excuse was they had to balance the plane,
Yeah.
which, sorry, I think that's BS. My feeling is that they just didn't want to clean the rest of the plane. They wanted
Probably,
to
yeah.
keep everybody, you know, in one spot, and it was a lot easier for them to clean the plane.
I actually said, well, why don't you just put us, all of us in the first class? There's 20 seats there, it'll balance
Yeah.
the plane a bit more.
Yeah,
right?
but they didn't want to do that. So anyways, we just wanted to stay calm and keep our mouths shut.
Well, last on this part of the traveling is when you're to do the test when you arrive in Canada. You need to do the test again. It's a
Yes.
fairly easy test. They tap you on both nostrils. But when you come out, you need to then approach the outside of the arrivals. You have to go to an
Yeah,
area.
so when you're coming off the plane, there is actually a sign there, and you can click on a QR code, just take a picture.
Yeah.
You can fill out your profile even before you get into
Outside.
customs, where you have to take the test. It makes it a lot easier.
No, it's not customs. You're already outside arrivals. It's after customs.
Yeah, that's what I meant.
Yeah.
Like after customs, but the airport was so quiet, so it was fairly
Oh
easy.
yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Nobody was there.
Nobody was there.
But if you don't do the QR, the guy will help you fill it out, and then they'll take you, do the test, and then you're out. In
Yeah.
our case, we had our vaccines, 2 of them, and we didn't have to go to a hotel, which we were worried, and that's why we wanted to have the vaccines. We just went home. We had a place to stay.
Yeah, and we didn't have to quarantine.
But how about the phone calls and the emails? You should
Oh, we
mention that.
we didn't get any phone calls. It was emails that we were receiving every day. But I found out on their website that we ignore it because we're exempt from the quarantine, so they just automatically send out those emails. So that wasn't an issue.
No, that's good.
One of the things we felt coming back here is kind of stepping back, so you can kind of see into what we have been doing in Pico, and how we're going to go forward, and the things that we need to do from here.
We had so much information that we sponged doing the things we did there. Anything to do with government and the renos, and you name it, tourism. We learned so much. So we have all this information. Sure, we take notes, but now we step back and we have to analyze everything. We felt that actually being out of Pico and being here now allows us to do that. Obviously, the journey started before we got to Pico.
Yes, it did.
At least, the real starting of making plans maybe 4 years ago, 5 years ago, and we're just looking back and things that we needed to do, and like some of the things we crossed out, some of the adjustments we had to do, and it's very interesting because we've done a lot.
Yeah, we've done a lot.
We've done a lot
up to getting to Pico, and then we did a lot on Pico. In a year, we did quite a bit.
Yes.
Yeah.
In a year during craziness, COVID, and
that's the one thing I have to be very thankful for, is that we were in Pico on an island during COVID, because they had a lockdown here for a very long time, and we felt that we had a lot more freedom being on Pico. So we were very, very thankful for that.
Yeah, like they say, everything happens for a reason. For us, was that we were meant to be there. We were there, and then flights got canceled. That was meant to happen. It happened. We dealt with them, and it worked out for the best, right? Because all the time we were there. Okay, it wasn't at times we had to kind of stay within ourselves, but we try to learn. We try to also relax and enjoy the island, because part of the whole thing, when we share thoughts or experiences, information about Pico, especially the people that haven't been there, like people that want to visit or spend more time there, we got to be in there and kind of really, every time we're there, we're always sponging, the feel of the island and all those things. There's always so many things you can do. You pick and choose, and there's always going to be more things to do. And we already have lists of things to do when we get back.
There is so much more to do there, guys, and so much more to explore that we couldn't possibly do it all in a year. Well, obviously, because we didn't know we were going to be there for a year, but
the year went by pretty quick.
Yes, and it always does.
It was really quick. It's crazy. I guess when you get older,
well, that's what they say. As you get older, the time flies a lot quicker.
Time flies. Or they also say when you're having fun.
Yes.
So maybe
we
it's
had
both. So it went really fast.
I think we just speeded it up.
Speeded it up, yeah. So I think we just thought, we started going, we started the business, the initiation of it with the government to do the glamping retreat. There was like a work in motion, and it continues, And we bought a car when we got there. And then we bought a house when we got there. And we started renovations, did some of our own renovations.
Yay!
Whoa! Oh my God! Kind of took over a family house, which is our home now.
And painted the kitchen cupboards and cleaned that house up.
Yeah, and just by dealing with different rules and regulations and legislation, it's a continuous learning experience, right?
Yeah.
So some of it's negative, some of it's positive. It's still learning, right? And
I had to extend my visa there a couple of times, which we had to take a ferry over to the island across from Pico.
Yeah, so these are all things that now we step back and you kind of look at it, because there's some things you want it to happen quicker. You get down for a while and you're like, oh, you get these obstacles in the way, and you always got to think, look, we've come a long way, and we could always change where we're going. So
because when you're in the moment, you can't really see it. But
you're frustrated.
You're frustrated.
Yeah.
But then when you, like we said, step back and see the process that we have gone through, it makes you realize that you've done a lot, and even the obstacles that were there, we got over them.
Yeah. There's no perfection in any country, anywhere, and obviously a lot of positive. There's the negative parts. I guess if I was to, like we mentioned in other videos, that I would say, there's a lot of bureaucracy that hopefully they can improve, get rid of some of it, because it'll improve the whole experience overall, okay, when
Yeah.
you're there. So, but that's like a lot of countries, they have that. So we just deal with it and learn from it, and it's going to be a learning on the job, basically.
So now we're going to give you an update on the renos on the house in Cemeteries.
So as you know, we started this process probably November, a little bit after, when we were on Pico Island.
We got a costing for the renovations on the house, so we realized that we didn't want to spend that kind of money, and so we did a little bit more analyzing, and that's why it's been taking longer than we thought it would.
Yeah, I mean, we wanted to analyze the product, especially with insulation. It was all new to us. We wanted to make sure that we understood the different options we had. So that took a while. And at the beginning, we actually had someone ready to do it, but then we took too long. That person got hired by a company. It's like the quality workers always get hired. So we missed out on this particular person. But
in the meantime, we did some of the work ourselves. We took the walls down, we took the ceiling down. So there was quite a bit that we did on our own.
Yeah, and after kind of basically figuring out what's insulation, just understanding more the product, the materials that would make more sense in our situation.
Yeah, and also how it's applied, how they do it, because we didn't want someone cutting corners.
Then to find the right, a quality worker that's available, it's not easy. So we had to wait longer and longer. Some people said they would show up. We get into that situation.
Yeah, they were supposed to show up and then they didn't show up, and we'd wait around. They call, oh, I'm going to come at this time, and then they still didn't show up.
Yeah.
So that was a little bit frustrating.
Yeah, it was very frustrating. But at the end of the day, by taking this long, positives came out of it. But basically, we decided at the beginning we weren't going to take down the stove or the oven or the chimney, but then we did. Made more sense because there was some damage there, and
damage in the roof. It was a bit of a water damage.
By doing so, we then decided not to open this other wall, and some of you saw the video. So it basically opened up other options for us that made more sense, was less expensive, but through this whole process, it just took longer. Now. Looks like some work is going to start. We got a guy, our architect is looking over it.
Yep.
And we
know that it's in good hands because our architect is kind of overseeing the construction of what we're doing with the oven part where we put the hole. Now we're putting sliding glass doors, we're extending the kitchen, and also starting the insulation in the ceiling.
Yeah, so I think in the next 2-3 months, if all goes well, we're going to have these are the two important jobs done finally, and we'll keep you updated. We're pretty confident with John looking over it and just taking care of it. Hopefully when we get back, I might have to go back in October. At least those jobs are out of the way and we can get on to the next one.
Yeah, and I figure that once we get through this process on this house, the next house will be a lot easier.
That's true. That's true.
There's a positive.
Yeah, we would have to take a break though, because it's it does get into you get down, you get frustrated, and you almost got to keep that in check because things do go slower there, and the worst thing you could do is hire the wrong person or just go with the original ideas, the cost. You just and pay too much.
It costs you a lot more money.
So for us taking this long, a lot of good is going to come out of it. We'll probably wind up doing less, and it's probably going to look better. We definitely will save money in the long run.
Yeah, so we will keep you guys updated on that process. Now to give you an update on the house in Lodge, which is where we were living. It's Carlos's uncle and mom that own the house. So it's in good hands too, because his uncle and our cousin with her brand new baby boy, they're coming over for a few, 3 weeks I think. And so they're going to look after the house at that point, and then they're coming back in October. So, and also our cousin Robert, he's going to be overseeing the house when there's no one there.
Yeah, and that way to go, Rob. Thanks, we appreciate that.
Yeah, thanks, Rob.
He's even when we weren't there before, that's who basically popped in once in a while, make sure the house was getting aired. If there was a lot of rain or storms, he would look in, and it's important that someone does that, and someone you trust, and then you don't have to worry about that. But it's a little sad that we're not going to be there to See the little guy, Antonio Jr. is his name.
Yeah, Antonio.
He has the same name as my uncle. Hopefully he has the same sense of humor. That would be a bonus. Probably does, anyways. Great. And now what else?
And so the update on our business.
Yeah, so as you know, a couple years ago, almost 2 years, we put a project in to the government. It was a glamping project. We have a piece of land that we wanted to build this kind of retreat kind of setting, and it's been a long process. And then COVID came, and when we got there this year, we went in to talk to them, and we kind of learned more why it was a slow process, and decided, actually it ends up being a positive thing, because they even told us if this was approved a long time ago and you were in the middle of construction or you were open already, COVID would have been pretty stressful.
Not a good thing.
So in a way, by being this slow, again, it was a positive for us, because now we can figure out a better way to do it, because the problem is the tents. That's because with the tents we go into a designation called camping. It's under camping, and it has its own rules, and after learning
restrictions,
a lot of restrictions, you can use less of the land. So by analyzing all that, we decided to put different structures, different units, still with the glamping concept, but it'll be wood cabins, like very specialized small cabins, kind of unique in its own way, but built into the nature, and then but
a
that's
little bit more modern.
Yeah, we're still developing that part of it, but we believe that it'll be a quicker process. It'll be with the units you can be open almost all year round. With the tents we couldn't. So there's a lot of advantages to that, and also the incentive that we were going to apply for ended. So now the new incentives are coming. We don't know what they are. The rumor is they're pretty good, might even be better. So that's another positive by the whole process taking this long. So we'll keep you posted. And at the end of the day, that's only part of what we're trying to do. Number one is we want to create, we're incorporating a tourism business there, just more basically to promote Pico Island and to promote the accommodations that already exist there. There's a great accommodations, all different types, activities, and but bottom line is just to promote and to bring visitors that want to come to the Azores, and we feel that we can do a good job on that, because we are neutral and we have the link with Canada, and we want to bring in more Canadians over to see these islands. I think they'll love it here, and I think that's it. I mean, we're building a website. That's another the part that we're actually working on that right now. But that's it. We'll keep you posted, and as we develop things.
The next thing we wanted to talk about is our future videos. And obviously we will be continuing to do the videos from here, from Canada. And so one of the few videos that we will be doing in the future is one on tourism. The other one would be our renovations. Obviously, we'll give you updates on that. And starting our the business, the sustainability, and the Canadian connection, and also real estate, as well as retirement and long stays in the Azores.
Yeah, I mean, we got some comments. I think I might have mentioned it earlier in the video, but just so everybody knows, we will be continuing to do these videos like we have before, once a week, and I think it's important for us to do them because we have a lot to share, and we believe that through these videos, obviously the people that already been there and are from there, obviously following us, but we want to get people that don't know anything about the Azores. We want to promote to them, and through these videos we'll be able to do that and connect them over to the website and everything else that we're doing, and also aside from tourism, there's a lot of people asking about things like retirement and real estate, like Laura mentioned, where we want to tap in more into that and get a little deeper into just some of the information that we've now learned of being there for a year. And I think that might be useful for various either people interested in a second home or retiring there, semi-retirement.
Well, and it's also connecting the local owners with people who are looking to buy a house there.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of ups to doing these videos. We love doing them, and I think us, we feel we are somewhat neutral because we spend time here and time there. We're not only there, and I think we travel quite a bit too. I have the background in tourism, and I can sometimes compare, but in a transparent, honest way, we can throw the information out there, and then people will choose at the end of the day. If someone's interested in what we're showing, the type of destination that the Azores or Pico Island is all about, they will come, okay? And then I believe we could really help them there.
Yeah.
So as far as tourism right now, it's booming, okay? It actually started booming when we were still there.
And it's crazy busy. So don't call our cousins to try and rent their houses
For
right
August,
now because
yeah.
they're completely booked.
Yeah, we talked to Luis, my cousin Luis, Carlos, and Sylvia today, and they're just jammed, and the whole island, and no car rentals. It's great to hear that.
Yes.
Just a matter of time with this COVID. It's one of the places where it's low and it has been low. So that's an advantage, and I think...
But we kind of figured that as
Yeah.
soon as things kind of started getting back to somewhat normal, that tourism, I think, it's gonna explode.
It's going to explode, and we want to be part of it. We want to be there to, to book our trips for the different guests, different experiences, and then being there to take care of them. So
Yes.
we also want to say that we also want to give a shout out to people. A lot of the followers went there or are coming, and
I'm sorry we weren't there to greet you guys.
yeah. Hopefully all our friends and family are doing well there. I'm sure they are. And shout out to Maggie and Charlie. Lorna is in Scotland. Hello. I haven't said hello to her in a while, so we love having her. There's also Nick and Maria. They're from Summiteers. Marie M is actually a childhood friend of my mom's, and we got to visit with them. Hopefully all is well in California. And did I leave anybody? Oh, and I just wanted to say there's a friend of mine. I went to school with him when I lived in Portugal. Paulo Alves. He just did a crossing, something incredible. He swam all the way from Fayal to Pico, the channel there. So I just wanted
from Pico to Fayal.
No, it was from Fayal.
He
this
went
one
from Fayal to Pico.
That's right. And way to go.
That takes a real, like a different mindset.
Yeah, no,
because you could be swimming through Portuguese man-o-wars, jellyfish, sharks.
Yeah, parabéns, Paulo. You're a freak of nature. That's what I call this guy. He's an athletic machine. So when I heard that he did it, and I actually saw the post, so way to go, Paulo.
Yeah.
And thank you guys.
And also your cousin Angelo and Kathy.
Yeah, I hadn't seen my cousin Angelo. He's from a Summiteers family side in quite a while. It was nice to just, he was there, just arrived before we left. And it was nice to spend a few hours in Lage, in the village there in Avila, with him and Kathy. So that was very special to us. And hope to see you guys soon, okay? And on that note, we're going to end the video. I think there's rain coming.
Like,
subscribe, share, and please send the comments and any questions.
Sorry.
And any questions you
Now I'm interrupting you.
and any questions you feel free to send me comments or emails. Any questions you have about visiting Pico or anything else, I always try my best. And we do. Yeah, I only said it because I'm the one answering the emails.
I answer them too.
You do. We want to do our best answering them. We do have more information about certain things as far as real estate, and we will share it with you. Just feel free to send us an email. And as far as anyone visiting, any questions, just ask, and I'll usually respond pretty quickly. And see you on the next video.
See you guys.
See you guys.
So we're gonna continue on